and gentlemen, we are back with episode 11 of Card Subject to Change. I am Sean Donavan. I am joined by a evergreen all-father today, Darius Carter. And I am joined by the Bayonne Badass. Thank you. And today he is the walking version of a yield sign.
Kill Bill.
And Danny Maff, who, unfortunately, but, the wonderful owner of the studio had to pleasantly surprise the God King here with the Fight Factory Championship. But the main star of today, we brought him back for a second round. Jack Daniels Winter Jack. I know we're in spring, but the weather here in the Northeast still feels like it's winter. So it's appropriate. So we've got Winter Jack as our unofficial sponsor today. And I had some ideas for today, but I was watching social media getting very angry.
Can we just get something
Sure.
Okay, episode 11, baby.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, because a lot of people don't know. They just, listen, they hit the link, and here it is. Here we are, right?
Yeah.
But, this is the first time
Oh,
this
here we
show's
go.
ever in history
Here we go.
that Darius Carter was not late.
That's not even it's not even. Tell the whole story if you're going to tell the story. All right.
I was late.
Tell the whole story.
Well, I get a phone call about 20 minutes ago. Ring, ring. Hey, where are you? Are you on your way? Yeah, but I'm on my way. I'm just on my way, but I'm just.
It created
okay.
concern.
Well, I just thought to let you know. Darius has been here since 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's having a booking meeting with Stacey. Your title reign is in trouble. Hurry up and get it.
a booking conversation for a place like that.
And that's where Maff proceeds to go. That's where Maff picks up the gas pedal.
That's when I started driving.
95 miles an hour on the wrong side of the road.
Next thing you know, he was here in 4 minutes.
Exactly.
CBS isn't that close.
Yeah, but
anyway.
he lives like 35 minutes away, but he got here in 4.
Yeah, what a rib.
Yeah, exactly.
All of it's a rib. I knew what he was going to say. I read his mind.
I had a couple ideas, but I was watching social media, and it made me angry that I feel like this is a topic we were going to get to, but I think we should talk about it today. And we've talked about it in previous episodes, and it kind of garners in the whole psychology realm of pro wrestling. It takes 2 great performers in a singles match. It takes 2 great tag teams in a match, but the intangible in that match is the official, the referee. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up, because in the art of pro wrestling, the referee sometimes has to be looked at as the most important person in a match because they are the actual physical authority figure that is keeping the match together and is helping to build the story. And where I got angry is because a lot of times when I scour social media, I see so much garbage of, you can tell when a referee has just been thrown in the ring, when they're wearing baggy sweatpants, jeans, dress shoes, hair's all messed up. The biggest thing that pisses me off is when the referee's shirt is not tucked in. And then they just don't know how to referee. And I don't think independent promotions understand that the referee is the authority figure that is supposed to keep everything in line, everything together. And they're not doing the counts correctly. And that's the bad side. I'm only touching a small part. But then there's the great side. When you have a competent referee that knows what they're doing, it takes a great singles match from here all the way here, and the same thing with a tag match from here all the way up here, because they are treating that contest as a legitimate contest. And while we've talked a lot about psychology and what it takes to get things done in the ring from a performer perspective, we haven't had a chance to touch on referees yet. And the three of us know how integral a referee is on so many different areas, from being able to use the referee to your advantage, not just in communication, but as a villain, how to manipulate the referee to doing what you need to do without getting disqualified. So again, part of the art of what we do, because again, when I see this, and I say this wholeheartedly, we have too many wrestlers trying to be cool heels, doing all cool shit, and not utilizing the referee as a villain, what is needed to be done. And I know the three of us, I can speak for myself, but I know the two of you are very good in how you utilize a referee in a match. So I guess start with you. Your thoughts on referees and psychological and just what we're seeing on the independents with referees today.
And I think it also is weighing in on the match rules, right? And sometimes I'll hear conversations where people don't even know the match rules to things. They don't even know, rope breaks in a cage match, or rope breaks in a triple threat, and this and that. It's like, if there are no disqualifications.
Yeah.
There are no countouts.
Right.
These are very important things to know, especially as the performer, because you need to know what you're working with.
Right.
I'm always like, okay, triple threat, this means no disqualification.
But yeah, the referee's counting you in the corner.
You know what I mean? And I'm got my finger in someone's eye, and you're counting 1, 2, and and it's a triple threat, and I'm like, and what am I supposed to turn to you and say, hey, don't count? I mean, it's all one of those things where it's like, people don't know the rules sometimes, and the referee is supposed to be the ultimate authority in knowing the rules, right? Rules are there to be not particularly broken, but manipulated, right?
But established as well.
And they need to be established before they can be manipulated.
Correct, yes.
Because if you don't know what the rules are, then what am I manipulating? What am I doing, right? And that's what the referee is there for. And we all know, the easy thing to do when you can't or don't want to pay for a viable referee, you go and you throw a ref shirt on the kid in the back that was loading the waters in the fridge, if there is a fridge. And it's just one of those things, and it's like, hey, put a ref shirt on him. You don't have to pay him anything, and it's like, oh, as long as the kid can count 1, 2, 3. It's like, but that is not refereeing. That's an insult to the position.
And we've all seen it, right? We've all seen it for a promoter. Hey, I'm short a referee. Hey, how long you been training for? Oh, a couple months. Hey, I have a ref shirt. Could you ref? I think so. Okay, cool. You're on. What?
Kids thinking it's opportunity of a lifetime, and like I said, he was getting the Gatorades.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's just one of those things where the rules are so critical and important. Because should be one of the most important, and not just the most important, but should be one of the primary things that you're looking at. You should know, okay, cage match, that means I can escape. Let's utilize that. Well, the ways to win are the ways to people's emotion, right? Pinfall, submission, escape the cage. Do I have a door? Okay, there's things you can play with because you're trying to play with people's emotions,
right,
in which way the match is going to go. A poor referee can actually ruin a great match. A great match. And maybe that's what you've also been seeing when you're scrolling, because it does happen where the ref doesn't get low for the count, the crowd doesn't hear it. Was it a 2? Did he kick out? What happened? And referees have to be audible. They have to be
vocal. They have to be loud.
Have to be in the right position, not getting in the way. You have to be aware when I'm doing things. Because one thing I'm going to do is everybody that's in the ring with me is working.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the ring with me is working. And one of the greatest things that I hear is when referees will say to me, hey, Darius, like, thank you because you include me. And it's like, well, yeah, you should be included.
And
right?
You respect them as the authority figure. How many times do we see in tag matches, and sometimes we see this, on TV sometimes too, in tag matches where tag teams are just worried about getting their shit in for double teams, and they're completely disrespecting the 5 count. Right. And the referee has to be like, 1, 2, come on. Like, they have to now, they almost are made to look like fools, because now you're at an 8 count when you should have disqualified this team, and you don't. And now the heat is not even on the heels anymore. The heat's on the referee, and it's just like, yeah. I mean, you've dealt with great referees and bad referees in your 64 and a half years in the industry, even though you're only 69. But We're going to get him started off good.
Because that's the good stuff.
He
right
hasn't
there.
even spoken. He's already on his third glass.
That's the good stuff right there. I saw him down one. The other one must have happened in the shadows. I saw one go down. I saw him sink one ship. I didn't see the second one.
As long as I'm above water.
Keeping your head above water. Making a way where you can.
Listen,
Oh,
right.
God.
referees.
Yeah, tell him.
This is one that I rarely like hold in my chest. You know, my father was a referee. Okay, so, and my father was one of the rare referees where he was a referee and a promoter. Okay, but he became a promoter later on in his career. You know, but when he was a referee, he was a heel ref. So he always worked in conjunction with the heel or blind to what the heel was doing and always catching the baby face and enforcing on the baby face.
Yep.
But when he would enforce on the heel, it would get an instant reaction because they knew he was, you know, the jerk-off ref
Right.
who always gave the babies a hard time. But when he would give the heel a hard time, the crowd would be like, oh, shit.
These guys really crossing the line.
Yep.
But he didn't really want to garner that kind of response because he says the referee shouldn't be taking
From the performer.
the dancers.
You should be
in the
contributing
ring.
to it, if anything.
Okay.
And the great ref contributes.
Right.
Believe me.
So, I mean, this is why I've always liked to treat the referee differently because I'm very partial towards referees. I love working
I think
heel
they're so important. I think referees
with
are.
the referee. I know
essential.
you've seen me work
Yes, correct.
with a lot of referees, and you know when I see a ref, I this one moment that really sticks out to me was at a shotgun. And you're like, okay, you're working this guy or whatever. I said, oh, so who's my ref? Say, right there. I say, okay, I never saw this girl before where she was about 5'6", 90 pounds, 80 pounds. Very frail, very nice girl. She's such a sweetheart. But I could tell she was not that comfortable. Right, in what she was doing. And I
feel
could
like I know what
tell.
you're talking about.
I could tell, she's from Creative Pro. I'm
Yeah.
bad with names.
Yeah, Emmy.
Yeah.
Emmy.
Yeah.
Wonderful
Yes.
girl.
Yep.
So I looked at her, and I was like, man, I feel bad, bro, because this girl, she's actually
She's not out of her shell yet.
I was like, man, when I see that,
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I said, Emmy, you're getting over tonight. So what are you talking about? I say, just work with me out there. Just react to me. So okay, so we went out there, man, and I started hitting the line, man, hey, don't touch me. Don't give me a 5 count. You belong barefoot and pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to her, man. And the crowd's reacting, man. And she's she's cowering away from me. But at that right point, I listened to the crowd. And when I backed her into the corner and I told her that you don't belong in a wrestling ring. You belong barefoot and pregnant. And something changed in her. And she pulled her pants up. And I saw it too. And my neck jerked. And she started giving me the business
There it is.
with her finger.
That's
and
it.
every time she poked me with that finger, what was I doing?
Cowering away.
I was
Yep.
putting it away.
Yep.
I was putting it over.
Yep.
And she fingered me from one corner. She fingered. Fuck. Let's refrain now. Okay.
I'm just gonna laugh, but we're just gonna keep rolling. Let's
Yes.
go with that.
So
Kept giving you the finger to the
she kept
chest.
poking me in the chest.
Yes.
All the way across the ring.
Yeah.
And okay.
Ironclad. Ironclad.
Woo. All right, here we go.
I will
anyway,
not break,
go
I
ahead,
cannot shatter.
continue. Let's continue. That's it.
So
That was perfect. That's gonna look great on
she was
replay.
poking me in the chest. Every time she poked me in the chest. Every time she
You gotta
poked me
think
in the
about these
chest,
things, right?
I would put it over. I would put it over harder.
Yeah.
And I would put it over harder. Until it got to the point where she got me all the way back to the other corner.
Yep.
I have nowhere to go.
Of course.
So what's the heel? What's the bully heel do? Mm-hmm. He starts climbing up the corner. Mm-hmm. And I started telling her to calm down.
And then you can set up the next thing right there. Oh, here's the guy. Come on.
And man,
Wait,
and
come
let
on.
me tell you,
Come
that
on.
was like a comeback right there.
Yeah.
Because that crowd, man, they ate that up.
And then the
I've heard that building loud a few times.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then that can
But
translate.
that was
go to
one
your
of the
opponent.
loudest moments. And man, they were so into it, man. And then we went, she did half the work.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. What was the baby face? That was it Maggie? It was Maggie.
I don't.
It was
Maybe
Magnifico.
I don't remember, but yeah, go ahead.
And man, she set that table up for Magnifico, man. When Magnifico hit that comeback, man.
It's all.
Yeah.
So this is why
Correspondent.
I really, 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 really respect that third man in the
Yeah.
ring.
And
the
you have.
official.
Yeah, you have to.
You know, Tommy Young, I think, was the greatest official. to
Tommy
ever live.
Young. I think Hebner after that.
I think a lot of guys,
You know.
because if you talk to a lot of the Hebners,
Yeah.
a lot
Mike
of the Malmos,
Chioda,
a lot
another
of
one,
Chiodas,
yeah.
they put Tommy Young over.
They do, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
to me, for the longest time, was the greatest referee. Besides Hebner. I mean, they were the two most famous names from our era. But at the same token, each had their own style, right? Referees had their own style of how they would count.
Tom Young and the nuance. The slide
Right.
out of the ring.
Oh yeah,
Right.
He would count
And-
down,
and a
Bridget
lot
would
of things
count
that-
down the floor.
Yep.
A lot of things that performers even don't pay attention to is the art of what a referee does. We talk about how performers separate themselves from each other, how referees separate themselves from each other, how they motion counts, their cadence on their counts. What's the one thing most wrestlers don't look at, especially when you look at TV style? When a championship match is being introduced, how the referee would hold the championship.
Oh, yes.
Some would hold with one strap like this hanging. Some would hold it like this. Others would hold it like... Each referee had their own little cadence of how they do things, and it still shows on TV today. And what fathoms me on independent shows is that when you have wrestlers trying to emulate performers on TV, why aren't referees taking that same approach? Because to me, as much as I've seen lazy wrestlers in locker rooms, I've seen even more lazy referees who think all they've got to do is just put on a referee shirt. Oh, it's so easy. I just got to count. And they don't actually realize, just like a performer, there's an art to being a referee. A referee has to know how to be able to communicate with the performers and how to relay messages from both performers to each other and obviously protect the art of it. There's a way that you count with cadence. There's a way that you stand up to a heel who's giving you shit. And when is the right time to fire back? Like in your case, we've all seen the villain referees, right? The most famous from our era was Nick Patrick when he put the mask on and was the NWO referee, screwing over the baby faces. But the thing that really irks me is how little so many referees on the independents take their craft from just how they look. I mean, we talk about it all the time. We could talk about it here. To me, a perfectly groomed referee is wearing a nicely pressed referee shirt, nicely pressed dress slacks, and either those completely black shooter boots or all black sneakers.
Or wrestling boots.
Yeah, that's the shooter
look
boot
official.
style, right?
No, wrestling boots.
They look camera friendly. We
Correctly.
call it camera
Yeah,
friendly.
if you're gonna have a
Yeah.
beard, be completely have it nice and tight, nice and well groomed. If you have long hair, it's groomed in a ponytail. And it fathoms me how we see how referees look on TV, but yet the referees on the independents don't follow the same thing.
I mean, and they're representing an authority. That's what they want to think about.
Right.
You're representing a greater authority.
Yeah. And where I really learned, and I take this from a friend of mine, where I really learned how professional a wrestling referee needs to be is one of my personal friends. He's a referee for WWE, and Sean Bennett. Only a couple years into the industry, we would be in a locker room, and I'd see him open up his bag, and the way everything was neat and perfect. Shirt was folded perfectly, pants folded perfectly, invested in those shooter boots. One of the first referees I ever saw who invested in his own earpiece sets to bring to shows to make sure that their times can be communicated correctly, so that if the event is timed for a certain amount of time, they're playing an integral part on making sure to communicate with that promoter. If the promoter says, hey, this show is timed with intermission to go 2.5 hours, and that referee is making sure that that show hits 2.5 hours for various reasons, right? The building, no matter what state you're in, might have a curfew. You're trying to respect that building. All roads lead to all doing good business.
Well, let me jump in for a second there. Now, you mentioned Benny. I call him Benny. You mentioned Benny, and I remember coming up, and Benny did a lot of my matches, and it got to a point where I would ask for Benny. If I saw that Bennett was in the building and I was working, I asked.
Yeah.
For Bennett, but and it's true what you say. Bennett always looked cosmetically correct. Always looked like an official.
That's
always had his hair neat. Always clean shaven. Never had like hardware on. He was never a distraction.
Nope.
His pants were always perfectly pressed. His shirt was always clean. He had more than one shirt all the time. He always had a belt. He always wore black socks. Like you just never noticed him because he never got in the way.
Right. He blended in so perfectly.
But there was a group of referees at the same time, which I feel like I was blessed in my indie days. It was Ref Bennett. It was Sean Hansen. It was
Keenan.
Mr. USA.
Mike Keener.
Keener.
Yeah, Keener. Yeah.
Keenan.
Yeah, Keenan. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, we all have been blessed
ECW refs.
with working with great refs. Molyneux, Finnegan, all those guys.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this off the
Working
rip.
with Finnegan,
Off the cup.
is
Hansen and
Finnegan.
Bennett
And to the great refs, true.
Yes.
would watch each other.
Yeah.
And they would actually compete. Not compete, but they would police each other.
Professional competition and being the best referee
because
possible.
They liked each other. They liked their style.
Yes.
And they were completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were completely different.
Yeah.
Referees.
Okay, and then it got to a point where Sean Hansen wanted to look more polished and cosmetically correct, because Hansen at one point had the long hair, had the wrestling boots, had the sweat, and he just changed. He said, oh man, he said, okay, this guy, he's got a professional look. He says, let me get on par, and he did. And those two guys were like reffing against each other, man, but it was friendly competition.
Right. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Because performers push each other with friendly competition. Why can't the referees do the same thing? And you talk about
Make
how
each other better in real time.
And you talk about wanting to earn more bookings as a referee. Again, I use Bennett as the example. He was the first referee I ever saw that invested in his own earpiece set to do shows, right? If you can help a promoter get their show on time, you look more attractive to them, and you're going above and beyond to bring your own referee earpiece set to help with the show, and you can work with the other referee where whoever's not reffing is in the back with the earpiece giving the times, and you switch up between each other if you don't have another person there that can help with that.
The easier of a time, not to cut that off, but
no, please.
The easier of a time that you are, and this is for everyone, that's trying to get work as a wrestler, referee, interviewer, commentator, whatever the case may be, backstage correspondent. The easier of a situation as a case you are, the more you're going to get booked.
Yeah.
They're going to bring you back because they're like, you're doing your own. I didn't have to give him that. He's doing it on his own, and he's look at that, and he's helping give advice and leading people, and I didn't even have to come around and your stock immediately skyrockets, and then next thing you know, most likely you're back.
Right.
This is when people ask, and people say, "How do you get booked consistently for this or that? How do you? Okay, I get booked once, but how do I come back again?" That's a common question. How do you get repeated business at the same place?
Not just being a good wrestler.
I'll have a great match. Well, there you go.
Just not being a good performer, yeah.
I'll have a great match,
right?
But then I don't come back. I said, but it's so much more than that. I said, how did you enter the building? How did you come in? How did you interact with everyone in the locker room? How did you interact with the promoter, with your opponent? How did you interact with the fans? Did you make noise with the fans? Okay, you might have come back sweating after a 15-minute match, but that doesn't mean that you earned your place for another show.
Right.
And these things that we're talking about in terms of Sean Bennett coming and preparing himself and not having to be asked.
Right.
Not having to be asked.
Is a direct reason why he's where he's at. Kevin Keenan, there's a reason where he's been and where he's currently at.
Paul Turner.
Turner, yeah.
Yep.
Like,
they all say they love this. People say they love this. People say this is their passion and it means the world to them, and this is all that I've wanted since I was a kid, but you can't show up and look the part?
You're right.
We're
Please.
opening that door because everyone tells me
yes.
that they love wrestling, and
I had this typed on my phone because sometimes I like, when I'm laying in bed, I like to just type out my thoughts. And
to get them out.
Yeah. Like, and to me, it's what I actually wrote the other night was actually the same thing, because Maff and I talked about this, I don't know, yesterday or the day before. What happened?
Asshole.
Asshole, yes. I am an asshole if you don't know what it is. A person who asks you for advice, but then just doesn't do anything with it and does the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to get fired up here because they just hit a fucking nerve, and I probably got a little in me, but that's okay.
Posted about this on Facebook.
Yes, because here's my point, right? And I will say this right in front of the fucking camera.
Here it comes.
Stop telling those who have been somewhere in the industry, who have done something that where you want to be, this is your passion, this is your dream, this is everything to you. But when you look top to bottom at somebody, you look like dog shit.
Right.
You're not in the gym. If you can tan because you don't have pasty skin, you don't tan.
You're
not in the gym. You don't study tape. You don't go to training. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a flying fuck how many years you've been doing this. You should still be in a ring training consistently because there's always something brand new you can learn. You want to tell me you don't have to train, but when you scroll through social media and you see wrestling pages of people that are in national companies on TV right now in their own training ring, training, Natty, TJ, House of Champions, got Bobby Fish training in a ring. You've got flatbacks. You constantly see Tyler Breeze and Sean Spears in the ring with their students training. So you're telling me national TV people who have busted their ass to get where they're at are still good enough to work on their craft, but you Mr. 40 fucking miler, don't have to go to training? Are you fucking kidding me? Almost 25 years doing this, and I love getting in the ring. I got one leg right now, and I love getting in the ring with my students because I know I'm gonna learn something. But you have guys that walk into training that sit on their ass that have been doing this for a fucking, not even a cup of coffee, a drip of coffee. You trained for 4 months, you had your first match, and you're out on the road like a fucking road warrior, but you don't have to train? That's a slap in the face to guys like me, guys like you, guys like Maff, who are still around doing this at a high level.
And working on your craft every day.
Every fucking day.
Your
but you don't
aren't
have
the
to
same
train.
As they were a year ago. My work isn't the work
exactly.
as it was a year ago.
And it goes the same for referees, right? Just because you've refereed a few matches doesn't mean you don't need to get in the ring and work on your craft as a referee. I'm sorry. That is an insult to anybody who has done anything in this industry and has worked their tail off to get opportunities. But then you want to sit there and you want to tell guys like you or me, oh, I'm at a crossroads. I don't know what to do. Oh, I'm hitting a brick wall. Take an honest, long look in the fucking mirror and tell yourself, are you doing everything that is needed to make it, right? You want to be pissed off because an executive didn't book you for extra work, but you don't look the part, don't do the work, no, none of this.
Right.
But you're expected to be booked for extra work because of your tenure.
Lucky to get the email.
I'm sorry. I'll use the thing that Max MJF has always said, right? Talent over tenure. It don't give a fuck how long you've been doing this. It matters in the time you've been doing this, what you've done, what chances have you taken, and it's the same thing with referees. Oh yeah, I've been refereeing for a couple months now. Well, if you've been refereeing for a couple of months now, you should know in a triple threat match that there's no counts except counting the 1, 2, 3. Right? If you're a good referee, you know how to anticipate body language and know when a pin is about to happen.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
When a guy's in a corner, you're not just standing there and you're not doing anything. That tells me you are not studying your craft as a referee. And what you're doing is you could be taking a really good match. If the two of you are working in a great singles match and you have a shitty referee, you can do everything you can to blow the roof off the building. But if the referee's not playing that same level as you guys, that match is never going to be an A.
Adds a weight. Anchor.
Sorry.
Anchor that brings it down.
My rant is done.
No, it's real.
Because I'm sorry. It
It's
frustrates me for the guys that have put in work and the guys that don't literally think that they don't have to put in work.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
You constantly have to be evolving. This is literally a game where you, if you want to remain a player in the game, if you want to be somebody of any type of stature or value or status in this game, you have to continually change in one form or one facet or another.
Michael Jordan did become the greatest basketball player alive today. Sorry to all the LeBron fans, but that man was at practice, pre-game practice, and in the offseason working on every basic and fundamental there is. There's a reason why he had a high percentage in free throws. There's a reason why he had a high percentage in jump shots.
The man went to the finals and never lost. That's it.
You either sharp or you
close the book.
Yeah, but
the man went to the finals and never lost.
Yeah. But there's a reason why. He talks about it all the time. Watch his documentary, The Last Dance. If you want to learn how to be a fucking superstar and a great player in any industry, follow his pattern. Never stop training. Guys like Kobe Bryant, they all talked about during the Olympics, right? All the guys would go out and they'd party after some of the shows, and they ask Kobe to come out. No, I got to go to bed. And then the guys would be walking back into the hotel at 4 a.m, and Kobe's walking to the gym. And all of a sudden, what did they do? They started following his suit. And what did that do? More Olympic gold, right?
They asked Vernon Maxwell. I don't know if you remember Vernon.
Oh, yeah.
They asked Vernon Maxwell. They were in Chicago. It's like, hey, man, what are you doing? You know, oh, man, we're in Chicago, man. Let's go out, man. Let's do the thing. You know, we got here. They got there early in the morning. Their show wasn't until the next day. Everybody went out to eat and to have a good time. Vernon Maxwell stayed in this fucking hotel room. They, this is why you staying in, man? He says, man, I'm guarding Mike tomorrow. That motherfucker ain't doing me dirty. He ain't doing me dirty.
He's not catching me on an off day.
Right?
Yeah. He's not catching me off.
But this is where people bullshit. It's not your dream. It's not your passion. Because when something is your dream or your passion, you stop at nothing to achieve it. To me, guys who want to tell me that shit, that tells me in your mind, you are working yourself into a shoot that this is your dream, when in reality, this is just something cool you want to try.
Yeah, it pisses me off.
You just hanging out.
Frustrates
You
hanging out.
And
it's the same with performers and referees. I'm
like
sorry,
being a
Mom, go ahead.
superhero on the weekend.
Yeah.
What frustrates me the most is, oh man, you don't understand. I really want to make it, man. How do I get to the next level?
Yeah. I call it the Brett because people in
Get
the
yourself
DMs.
there.
Hey, how do I do this?
Get yourself there.
Mr. Carter.
How do I get to the main event? How do I get people's attention? Bro, listen. First of all, like I've sat at shows literally the entire time before a show, and like I'm sitting there, I'm talking to the person, I'm literally getting frustrated because I'm trying to simplify things so they can understand it. I'm trying to explain it to them as easy as I can and break it down easy so they can understand it. And they ask me and they tell me, and we have this incredible conversation, man. I'm sweating. I put time in. I'm telling them. And then I watch their match and they go out there and it's the drizzling shits because they did nothing that I recommended.
One ear out the other. It floated around, though, like Saturn, like the rings of Saturn, but it never went anywhere. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, bro, a lot of these independent talents, some of them don't have jobs.
Right.
So all they have is
some of them
wrestling.
work part-time. Listen, boys and girls, if you're out there and you want to become a professional wrestler, don't sit there and tell me that you've been watching this your whole life and you don't. And I don't understand how much you want it.
No. You don't understand. I really want it. No. Okay. Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
Listen, you got to put the time in, okay? You got to put the time in. There's so many avenues right now. You know, there's Evolve, there's the NXT, there's WWN. They have IDs programs. You know, I just saw Swipe Right on NXT this week. Good for them.
Good for them. They were,
Good for them. And let me tell you, man, this kid Brad Baylor,
New England territory. Yeah, Brad is.
He didn't always.
No.
He wasn't always a star, but he would ask a lot of questions.
Yes, he
and
did.
He would go, and he's got a great support system at home.
But you know what Brad Baylor isn't? He's not an asshole. He takes advice like a sponge, and he fixes what his opportunities are, and he takes advice from different people, and you can see. That's it.
This
20 years old.
This guy hasn't even started fucking growing yet.
Yeah.
He's the outlier in this generation of entitlement where he wasn't entitled.
Shane Douglas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he moves. It's
And his partner.
Yep.
Yeah, Ricky
Smokes. Very, very talented,
New
man.
England
Very,
territory.
very
Talk about a
talented.
guy-
Watching it all.
Talk about a guy who moves with explosiveness and there's no wasted motion.
Nope.
You know,
Their tag match from NXT, there was not a
guys are
single
always
wasted
asking me,
motion at all.
guys and girls ask me, well, you know, I don't belong. I say, oh, you belong on NXT? Women, let me tell you something. NXT is the most loaded roster on the planet.
Right.
That's how many badass females they have.
Yeah.
They have the creme de la creme. They have
Swimming.
the baddest of the baddest.
But when you just break it down when it comes to females in TV
Swimming with
companies, why are they there? Because they've put in the work to get there. That's where it comes down to. You want to know why Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes are on Evolve and NXT? Why? Because they consistently trained. They consistently worked on their craft in and out of the ring. Why are guys like Brandon Martinez from our Creative Pro School on AEW TV? And he got signed rather quickly because he came to every practice. He listened to his coaches. When Maff was there, he would listen because Maff would always say, you got to put a little sazon on that. You got to put a lot of seasoning on that with your counts and this and that. And what happened? He got an opportunity. He was at the right place at the right time. And because he was prepared and rather over-prepared, there's a reason why his name was signed on a dotted line to a contract. Because he was prepared. How many indie wrestlers, I deserve a tryout, I deserve to do this for extra work and all this. Okay, you
don't deserve shit.
Right.
Yeah,
but you get the opportunity to do extra work and you get the opportunity to have a 5-minute Ring of Honor match on AEW. You better be that fucking special that when you walk through that curtain, there's an executive there waiting to hand you a piece of paper to sign that says we cannot let this guy go.
Right.
What percentage of talents who are delusional enough to think that when they get extra work opportunities for any company, that they automatically think when they walk through the door, yeah, man, I'm getting signed today, and Okay, but then when you look at them, it's like
be pouring champagne on me, like Flair in '92.
But and don't get me. Yeah, I've been at extras.
Yeah,
I've been an extra. And I've also seen extras go up to agents.
Yeah.
Like, oh, when am I getting a job?
Yeah.
Oh, when am I going to get hired? Or they just show up at a building and there's a promoter there who's just happened to be there.
Right.
If a promoter is at another show, trust me, he's looking. He's looking for something to catch his eye. He's not looking for you to walk up to him and say, hey, man, how you doing? Oh, when you going to book me? Fuck.
So you want to break it down even further when it comes to extra work as a referee, right? On average, answer me this question.
Got that DM
on
message?
average, a national TV company, right, on a main roster, how many male and female performers are there combined?
Right.
60, 70, maybe a little less, right? Out of that 60 and 70, how many referees are there in that company?
Right.
7, 8, 9 rotating, which means as hard as it is to get in the door as a wrestler, it's even harder to get in there as a referee. So if you want to be a referee and this is your dream, knowing that there's even fewer spots, you have to work 3 times as hard to get noticed, because how many times do you hear of referees getting extra work? Not as many. What I think is a great thing is we've opened the door now with having more female referees on TV, which is tremendous. We need more of that. We need more of both male and female referees working very hard at their craft.
And refs are getting extra work.
Right,
now,
they
you
are.
know, so.
But when it comes down to it, referees can be special if they put the time in. Because you as a great referee who understands things can take 2 green performers and make them look like they are top level.
Competent.
Just being a referee and knowing how to count doesn't mean shit. A referee needs to know the psychology and needs to know the segments in a match to help performers along if they get lost. They can help call audibles and say, hey, I know you're lost, do this.
Go to a corner.
Go to a corner, grab a hold, do this.
Yep.
And they're feeding.
There's very few people. I'm always talking in a wrestling ring.
Of course.
I'm a big talker. And I'm a firm believer that if you're always talking, when you do need to say something, you're not exposing anything.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, I'm always talking shit.
Yeah.
Even if I'm selling. How many times have you kicked me, Carter? And I say, you son of a fucking bitch.
There's always something.
And we go to the bag and say, bro, did I really kick you? I'm like, no. I was like, bro, you got me on that. Yeah. Like, yeah, because I'm fucking selling. Like, if you would have kicked me outside in the street, that's how I'm selling it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
They call it actions per, or I call it actions per minute, APM, which is making every single, and this is ultimately my goal in the
motion
ring.
in real time.
That's ultimately my goal. Is I look back at myself and I say, wow, what could I have done there? Could I have rolled away differently? Could I have set myself up differently for the next thing that was to happen, right? Because everything matters in how you do what you do. Every single moment. The ultimate performer is one who is not wasting a single iota of a moment. If the opponent's on the ground, are you hovering over them or are you looking to the crowd? Are you engaging someone? Are you looking at the referee because what you did previously was unsavory? Now they're on the mat because of something that you did. Maybe you flung them with a rope, choked them up. What are you doing after that? Are you going to pick the opponent up and hit a body slam? Or are you going to let him lay there and maybe let that ref, who should be engaging with you in some way, saying, hey, Carter, unbelievable, you can't be doing this. And now I can go to that, put that energy towards the referee. The crowd sees that. Energy is up. Opponent gets to do what they're doing. By the time I come back to my opponent, if my opponent throws a punch, they hear that big cheer. That's because that energy from my what I just did with the referee transfers to the protagonist. It transfers to the good guy now, who can now use that energy to start fighting back. That is, we're transferring energy that we're getting from the people. And that's what people don't understand. This is all an art. This is every single part of it matters.
It takes every single person in that ring to make the match what it is. And we all have seen it, right? We've all been in it. There is nothing greater than being in the ring with a competent referee that understands every single part of that match. But then we've all been in those matches where it's pulling teeth where literally the experienced guy or girl in the ring has to play double duty. They got to talk to their opponent and they got to tell the referee where to be. Yeah. And, that's the thing, right? When I look at independent companies and I see them using referees that are terrible, or you can tell that person has never been a referee and they were just given a referee shirt. I mean, if I'm looking across a certain state off my list and I see a state with a referee like that, I'm not even going to bother. Because as a promoter, if you're just willing to take bottom of the barrel, or you're willing to put an inexperienced person in a ring on your show that does not have the right yet to be in that position, then that means you don't care about your wallet. Yeah. You don't care about the paying customer. You don't care about the performance for those wrestlers on that show. Especially you have guys traveling for hours away and then they get put in the ring for a great match, but then they get put in the ring with a referee that doesn't belong there. Well, now you've done those performers a disservice. You've done that crowd a disservice because they're not getting, as a paying customer, what they should be getting. Our wrestling product is no different than going to a store and buying a physical product. Mm-hmm. They deserve to get the best of the best. Do I want a referee that has been made from the ground up and has taught everything, or do I want a referee from Temu? Which one do I want? If you want a referee, if you want a referee from Temu, then you're going to be happy with drawing 30 people on your show because you don't care about your product.
It's reflective of you and your care for, for the sport.
And it caters to everything. It goes all the way around. If you're going to invest in terrible referees, that means you're probably the promoter that is going to entice the untrained wrestler because you can pay him literally nothing because you want to play promoter. Mm-hmm. A legitimate promoter knows the good referees that they need to reach out to that are going to enhance their product altogether.
I've told promoters.
And they'll invest in them too.
I've told promoters, switch my ref.
Yeah.
Why, Maff? Just, you don't look professional.
Yeah, we have something that we need to do in this ref now.
How many times you and I
can't trust him.
We work for ISPW when Mono's on the show. We always, please hope Mono's our referee. Not there's anything wrong with our other referees, but we know what we're getting with a Jim Molyneux.
I enjoy working with Molyneux.
Right. Yeah. I know when I get so happy when I'm on a show with Kevin Keane. He goes, "Oh, I got your match." I'm like, yes. Mm-hmm. And it's not anything bad towards the other referees. I already know that my match was already here. Now with that referee, it's here. And now it's up to me, my referee, and my opponent to get the match here.
If I get a John Finnegan, if I get Nick Shin, if I get Gina, if I like
Shin,
you know what I mean. If I get Dumeng, if I get a referee that is, if I can get,
Dumeng's
if
ref.
I can get somebody, if I can get Shady, if I can get somebody that is Shady is cognizant. I need people that are cognizant. When I do things, I'm doing things unsavory and fractions in the ring. There needs to be somebody that says stop it or that's not okay, so that the fans are feeling that too. Yeah. The ref agrees with the fan. It's all a relationship, and I wish people really understood that because again, a great ref turns the volume up.
Great wrestlers know that when you are in the ring with a great referee, you know that your match is going to be built around moments because you can communicate.
Say that again.
Moments.
Yep. Your match is built around
moments.
Say that again.
Moments.
Your match is built around
moments.
Come on.
And the referee helps make that moment so special.
Yep.
Because if the referee knows how to react to that moment and they're not acting they're reacting towards you. Mm-hmm. When the cameras pan in, the photography shot that's there, the money-making shot that's there. Think of all the amazing moments that have happened in wrestling that have had referees involved in those segments that knew their role. And we've always said this. A great referee is heard, but not really seen. Mm-hmm. They're in the match, but you don't ever really see them. That is the mark of a good referee. I cannot stand referees that try to make matches about themselves. You're not a fucking character. You're an enhancement to the performers in the ring. If you don't know what your role is as a referee, do yourself a favor, get on the other side of the fucking guardrail, or go find a good school to be retrained on what a referee is supposed to be.
Try and be a wrestler,
You know, I have
be a wrestler.
I have a real big problem with a lot of these clips where I see
Referees doing cutters.
referees doing cutters or referees doing
Springboard
dives.
cutters at that. Like, how do you springboard?
I know it's a niche,
Listen,
but
man, like it's not cool, man. It just doesn't belong there, dude. The referee is there to do one thing and one thing only. Like a referee isn't there to, maybe on a rare occasion, a rare moment, on a special occasion when it means something. Okay, you do something special with a ref, but come on,
a lot of kids there.
well, you know what? I bring a case in point, right? You and I did the match where we took those two kids and we did the dancing spot, right?
I saw that.
And that was fun. But I watched it again and I watched the referee. The referee got in on it, but he stayed in the background with what he was doing. He didn't jump in front of the segment and get his dancing skills over.
Got in the middle of the ring and just started hitting the
started doing the John Travolta, you know what I mean? But he did it, but it was an enhancement to the spot in the match, but he did it playing a background character that added to everything. And I don't think a lot of times individuals who want to get involved in wrestling and be a referee have to understand that if you're going to be a referee in our industry, you're not there to be the highlight. You're there to be the enhancement. You can still be an integral part of that match without having to do all that stuff. Now, does a referee still have to have some personality to them? Yeah, they do. They can't just be a dead fish going, 1.
Yeah, you're not a robot.
2. Like, you've got to have some sort of charisma.
A soul.
Right, to be and have to make those counts from the heart, not from the throat, not from the brain. It's from the heart. We think work but shoot, right? If you're authoritative in the corner with a wrestler and you're getting to that 4 count, right? You're going to take your job seriously. Hey, you got a break on 5 or I'm going to disqualify you right now.
Right.
And you don't want to disqualify the match early. So, okay, you get to 4, you might give that heel the benefit of the doubt, but you're in their face. You do it one more time and you're out. Now it's up to that wrestler to not go to the 5 count. Because if they do, the referee has no choice but to disqualify you because they didn't listen to you. Now, if you go in the back end,
I will hold that shit all the way to 4.
Right.
Now,
but how many times have we seen referees and wrestlers come to the back where the wrestler is giving the referee shit because he didn't do something right? No. Look in the fucking mirror. You took advantage of that referee and you didn't respect their authority.
A quality ref will call it like a shoot.
Yeah. So if they disqualify you, it's your fault. If they pin 3 and you didn't kick out, that's on you. It's not on the referee.
Oh, your count was faster with this and that, bro. You should understand the rhythm of the night, right? You should understand when your back is on the mat. 1, 2, I need to get my shoulder up. By the way, let's have a conversation real quick. A quick little bonus here. Kicking out. What is kicking out? Well, let's explain. Kicking out does not just mean using your feet and thrusting. It means getting one shoulder at least off of the mat. Okay? That is a kick out. So you kicking your feet and not getting your shoulder up, you did not kick out. And that's conversation we've seen so many times that I kicked out and the ref counted 3. We as veterans or what have you, please understand, performers, you're blown up, you're tired, whatever it is. Well, you went through this match in the locker room. Go out there and do it, right? And when you are laying there and you can't get your shoulder up, you can get a leg up, but you can't get a shoulder, please understand that is nobody else's fault.
But your own.
That's
it.
Get your shoulder up, guys.
And how many times we've seen arguments start in the locker room where the wrestler's giving the referee heat? No. If the referee knows their job, their job is to count. Right.
A ref like you didn't kick out.
Right. A good referee is taught from day 1. You count like it's real. If they don't get their shoulder up, it's a 3 count. I mean, again, I know we talked about some great referees. Another great referee we've worked with, Jared Fritz of the NWA, another
one.
top referee in wrestling right now. And it's no disrespect to any other good referees out there. I'm just throwing names off the top of my head that I've worked with that are such a pleasure to be in the ring with because they know their role. I know mine. If I give that referee how many times have we seen Ric Flair get in the face of a referee and a referee gets in their face with the shirt and says, I'm the authority. You do this one more time.
And Flair's putting it over.
And Flair's like, you know, have you seen Flair get on hands and knees? No.
Right.
But other wrestlers, like you talk about kicking out, right? How many times we see wrestlers in the beginning of a match and they kick out like they're 20 minutes in?
Oh my goodness.
Like that's a topic for another day, but like we talk about, if you're going to kick out, you've got to kick out with authority that tells that referee he needs to not count a 3. That's what it comes down to. A great referee will always do things like it's real. And if you abuse the referee's authority, the referee has the ability to DQ you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes into the match. That's why I talked about earlier. Tag moves, right? Respect the referee on a 5 count of tagging in and out. Don't just, I got to get my 5-hit combo double team move in, and you're at 8, and the referee's like, no.
Rules, what people don't fully respect, not even just realize, it's a level above realization, it's respecting it, right? You don't respect the fact that rules open the gates for creativity.
Mm-hmm.
If I have 5 seconds and only 5 seconds, I'm not looking at that as, oh man, I'm looking at that as, what can I do?
In 5 seconds.
What can I do with the count of 5? And that adds to the legitimacy of it, and then that makes you look like a professional wrestler.
How's the fun example?
And before you even get into that, but let's say this, right? If I can say I'm a smart wrestler. I could tell you guys, right? I'm a smart wrestler. I can show you that I'm a smart wrestler, which builds the character up even more. You can build the character up in the ring. You don't have to just wait for a promo to build your character and then go and do your match. Your character, you can do character development in the match. Mid-match, you can come out better than you went in.
Mm-hmm. How many times in matches have we always seen, right, where you have the heels doing everything behind the referee's back, but then the baby faces do it right back to you and they get the big pop because the referee knows where to be. That's the comeuppance. Because now the heels who are doing it, when the babyface does it, the other heel on the outside is crying wolf. That's the mark of a great referee, knowing where to be and how to enhance things. You know what I mean?
That was the point you were going to make before.
Yeah, and the other thing, again, it's an old school thing. I'm not a fan of it these days. Again, you have to be smart as a referee, right? The days of the whole 80s behind the referee's back where the other guy gets out, it's kind of played out. You know what I mean? You can still do the double team and get out. Or if you really want to make the referee more authoritative, do the double team, have the illegal guy in the ring when the referee turns around and the referee knows, and the referee knows you're the illegal guy and forces you out of the ring and gets your opponent in. Now the both heels are frustrated. They have to now make a tag. It puts more authority on the referee. So the heels indirectly are giving the referee more authority by doing what they need to do. That is the mark of a great referee and great heels that can interact. It's the same thing on the baby face's end. Baby faces when the heel's cheating, right? The baby faces come back, right? They'll get to a 4.5 and you got to break. Okay, I'm breaking. And now they go right back to it again and they're giving that referee that authority, but they're still getting over as a baby face. Referees, I know we got to count down because I know Sturchio's got like 7 kids at home he's got to take care of and a wife.
Wild.
You know what I mean?
That's why they call it hot rod.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, well, he's got 2 we know about. I don't know about the rest. I'm throwing some heat. Jesus, I might get fired, but anyway.
That's wild.
But my point is that referees have to take themselves as seriously as performers, but they have to do it by putting that extra work in. If your goal is to be a referee for WWE, go on their website. Take how many wrestlers they have on their roster and then take a look how many referees they have. How much harder do you have to work?
And watch their referees. Watch everything.
And no offense, I'm not being mean when I say it. When you look at referees on national TV companies, yes, unfortunately there are budget cuts and wrestlers get released all the time. How many times do you see referees get released? Not
Referees
very
are
often.
assets.
They're
Yeah,
assets.
when you get a
especially-
good one,
Yep.
you keep them.
And then that's
Exactly.
legitimacy.
Yep.
And
You
you're building-
use that one good one
Yep.
to train and
the
teach
other ones.
your others
Yep.
underneath.
How many referees have we seen over the years at national TV companies who have lasted? Majority of referees are there for many, many years because they serve in other capacities, right? Referees in national TV companies are also part of ring crew. But yet we have referees on the independents that show up 10 minutes before bell time. A good referee, just like a good wrestler, knows how to do anything and everything. A wrestler can't just come out and fix the ring for you, but a referee can.
Right.
Right? Something goes wrong with the ring and you're a great referee on an indie show. And while most wrestling rings are generally close to the same, they are different. If you're a
16
great
by
referee that
16,
can fix a bottom rope when it breaks during the next match, in between the next match,
Invaluable.
you're valuable to a promoter because you know why? That promoter who doesn't know how to do it is scrambling on what to do.
Or he's too concerned with other things
Right.
to worry. And now I got to worry about the ring on
If
top
I've got
of,
a great referee on my hands and I'm a promoter and the bottom rope breaks, all I got to do is talk to, hey, man, can you get a couple of guys and fix that? I'm on it, no problem.
Right.
As opposed to that referee go, I don't know what to do.
Dude, it's just
the show goes
this
on.
is just common fucking
But what's common?
human
But what's
decency,
common?
man.
But what's
Yeah.
common in
That's true.
2025?
That's very true. What is common?
why
You're
we
right.
show up
You're
at
right.
a That's why
fucking
we're here.
show.
Yeah.
You see that a promoter is overwhelmed. What do I always say to you, brother? At Shotgun, I said, hey, how can I make your life easy? What, give me something to do.
A guy that can easily just sit in the corner, get dressed, relax, do his match, and go home, but yet he wants to be a valuable part of the event. Damn near 30 years wants to be a part of the event. But we've got wrestlers that just think all they got to do is show up and wrestle and leave, like we talk about, right?
That's what paying your dues are.
Right, but that's what we talk about.
Investment. An investment
Great
with the potential
performers,
for the
great
future.
up and coming referees who choose to sit at home on a Friday and Saturday and Sunday when they're not booked because they're too good, when you could be going out there, going to an event, learning something, helping. Hey, maybe the bottom rope does break and you jump in to help that person who knows. Now you're learning by proxy
Right.
how to fix a ring if something goes wrong.
that's what
Again,
you should know.
you
Everybody
want to
should know
tell me
that
how you
in your
want to be a
business.
wrestler, but without saying you want to be a wrestler, be lazy as shit. Sit at home on a Friday and Saturday and Sunday when you have nothing better to do when you could be at a show. It doesn't make you any less of a person when you're a young up-and-coming wrestler who wants to learn. Good promoters will value that. They will value you message them and saying, hey, I'm brand new or I'm only a year in. I'd love to be able to come to your show and help out and learn. May I do that? And if you do that, I say his name all the time, right? Uncle Bob Evans. He always talks about serve first.
Brutal Bob.
Brutal Bob, yes.
We love Bob.
Serve first. That's what you should be doing in this industry. If you want to learn, go serve. Right? There's no different is no harm in doing that. But we have too many young wrestlers, too many young referees who have that mentality today of saying, if they're not booked, I'm not going. Well, that's great because there is somebody else out there who's going to do that, who's working harder than you. There's always somebody working harder than you. That
Or
means
putting themselves in a better position or whatever.
If you're
the case.
working
I'd love
out,
to see Bob have a complete book. Have the complete book on something. And I would just love to see like 6 or 8 shows of him having the complete book.
If he just did like a seasonal thing, he just did like, up here you go,
Let me tell you something.
here's
That's
6 of them, and then
that is an interesting motherfucker, dude.
yeah,
the
very.
guy's been anywhere
I'm
and
a big
everywhere.
fan of Brutal Bob.
He's been anywhere and
big
everywhere.
fan.
I wrestled him back in, I think this was
And I've had some pretty cool conversations with him in person.
6, 7, 17.
I've had some good conversations, and I've also had some very straightforward conversations with him, honest conversations.
Well, that's
you
the type
know,
of guy he is, man.
right? But I'm
He's a
great
straight shooter. Like,
but
he
I'm-
doesn't bullshit.
But I'm grateful for that because there have been times where I've made mistakes, and I didn't know it, but he did, and he's come to me.
He's not afraid to ruffle feathers.
No,
He's not afraid
and
to
I
tell you the truth,
appreciate individuals like that because if I'm making a mistake and I don't see it and somebody else does, I'd want them to tell me.
I left my match with him better.
You know,
And this was, again, years ago. This is, like 2017, around there. I left my match better in terms of where to place certain things. Do you need to do this? Do you need to do that? And I was like, and you're learning, man. The best of us are learning every single day. So you want to put yourself in the best position to learn. Okay, that's what it's about. So if you can't be in the ring, or if you're not in the training facility for whatever reason, watch it. Watch the product. Watch something. Watch something. And guess what? You're gonna see how the referees are. You know, you're gonna see if you're an up and coming guy and you want to know how to make it. If you're not watching Evolve, if you're not watching, even if you want to go to a LFG, if you weren't watching Level Up, which is why I tell people, guys, watch this stuff if you want to get there.
Watch everything.
Watch everything, of course, but I'm talking about developmental things, because they are showing you the developmental process right there.
They're telling you without telling you what they're looking for.
Exactly.
Wrestling.
Referees too. They put referees there too. And I look at and then when I see a referee go up to a certain show, now that referee's on main event, I was like, okay, I peeped that. I'm watching all of these things because
it's like, wait, that guy was in NXT. That referee was in NXT. Now he's on main event. Now he's back in NXT. But wait a minute. Now a week later he's on Raw. I wonder why.
Look at that.
Professional wrestling is an endless
journey
of learning. And processing.
Yes.
How many times do you and I talk about, oh shit, we just watched the match. I just learned something brand new.
No.
You never stop learning.
Today you sent me a match on, and you highlighted something that was, it was like, dude, look at these two guys just coming in and out of the ring.
It's the clip that Bob Evans posted about
Portland.
tag psychology from baby faces. Talk about obeying the referee.
It was Piper and Billy Jack Haynes against Rip. Was it Rip Rogers?
Rip
Oliver and Ric Flair.
Yeah.
What a hell of a match.
But you know what I mean? But quick tags, obeying the referee.
The selling was incredible.
The cutting off the ring.
Yep, the quick tags of a babyface. I'm sending this to him because, again, tag stuff we're looking at. You know, okay, how do we put our baby faces in position to do stuff like that? And I'm talking one thing tag, one thing tag, one thing tag. Yep. Obeying the referee, but also continuing to keep the fresh man in the ring.
Looking like you're doing more than you are.
And also having
actions per minute.
Also having
APM,
right?
APM.
Having in the back of your head, okay, the with all of saying, okay, if this any heel worth his weight and fucking his salt, you know what I mean? He's not gonna let too much of that shit pass by.
Come on.
It's gonna be a certain time where that fucking heel has to come in the ring. It has to be loud and boisterous enough to put his leg over the rope, let you know he's coming, stop on the fucking ring for the referee to come and now give you his undivided attention so the baby faces can keep pissing you off. And you have to get out, but not totally get out. You got to get back in and say, wait a minute, but look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. Why is this happening? You're not doing your job. And meanwhile, dude, all they're doing is doing what you do as a heel. They're doing it back to you.
And by proxy,
the fans
are winning.
Are eating it up because you're getting your own shit spoon-fed to you right back at you.
And why? Because you have a competent referee that knows what to do. Everybody is working together.
How many times have you been in a match with me where we're both involved in, and it's like we get so into what we're doing and so into the interaction and with the crowd, and we're actually cooking and smoking, and we're on all cylinders.
It's so
and
easy.
The referee says, "You got 2 fucking minutes to go home."
Well, you guys wanted to rib me about match times, but let me tell you something though. I come back and I'll say, I said, but you were moreover after the end of that, by the end of that match than you were when you went in.
Right. No, but
I said the mission was accomplished either way.
Yes,
because I made sure to catch those moments, and that's what I love about you two gentlemen, and what we look for in the business are people that go for that too. That real life. That real life, hey, I can feed you something in the middle of the ring. I didn't call it back there. I didn't tell you about it before the match because it might confuse you if I told you about it. Let's just go out there. You got to
be in the moment. We'll call it.
Yeah,
just listen to us.
Now you're shaking. You're waiting for something. No. Let's just go out there and do it, right? And I'll throw you a bone. And that's one thing I love about, when I'm watching your matches and when you've watched my match and you'll say, I saw how many bones you threw out there. It's like you had a bucket and we're just throwing out bones. everything. I'm feeding you because my hand's not on you. I'm looking at the crowd. Then I turn back to you. I'm coming to you slowly. What do you think I'm doing? If I'm not touching you and if I'm walking to you slowly, we're spelling it out for you, right? I'm walking to you slowly. You're coming up on the ropes. I'm not touching you. I'm talking my mess. My arms are outstretched. I'm walking with you with an open chest, open body. What am I giving you? It's not that it's not being given to you. It's that you are not taking it.
That moment.
Period. It's right
there. Moment.
And then you can hear the crowd. You can hear the kids in the crowd. Hit them. The teenager who you think is a smart mark and too cool for it. Hit him. 35-year-old man. Hit him.
64-year-old in a crowd. Hit him.
Oh my goodness. 4 different age demographics all saying the same thing. The beauty and the art of wrestling, if you allow it to be that.
That's right.
And that's what we're committing ourselves to.
Yes.
I see Maff do it with Tony Booz at Warriors. It's not about... It sounds like a broken record with it's not about the moves, it's about the moments. But if you really took a moment and digested that, then you will improve overnight as a performer. Overnight. You want to improve from tonight to tomorrow? Take out a move, put in a moment. I guarantee you your next match will be better.
That's it.
I'm not saying don't do any moves. I'm just saying retract to add.
That's right.
Subtract to add. In the best possible way. And that's how we come together with this business. That's how we come together with a match. Feed. Give them something. Take it. Realize it's there. Care enough to realize it's there. You know, once we lace our boots up, the time for being nervous and pissing your pants
is over.
It's over.
It's time to go out and do business.
It's time to go out and wrestle. I wrestled Nunzio, who trained me. Nunzio was an very influential part of my career. Okay, you can feel a certain way going into it, but when that bell rings, I have to do this.
That's right.
I have to give it to him the way that I said I was going to do it. I can a little bit of nervousness because this is a man that I'd looked up to and helped get me to where I am. Right, spent that time in the ring with me and grappled with me when I didn't always have that experience with others. He gave me that opening. Now I'm wrestling him. After he just was in the ECW arena for his match with Tony D'Angelo for the North American Championship, we got to go out there and deliver it.
That's right.
Separate that from the business. Perform the business to the best of your ability every single time. And make sure your referee is in on it too, baby.
That's it.
You know? Come on. Thank you, refs. Seriously, thank you, refs, because the good ones and the great ones...
Yes.
I drink to you guys.
You're part of Picasso. You're part of the painting. So thank you.
Referees, great referees. Thank you. Up and coming referees. Study the greats.
Keep going.
Get your shit together. Be the best referee possible. Thank you for joining us on episode number 11. Oh.
And hey. Oh. I've been seeing this.
The credits are rolling.
I've been seeing this shit happen more and more and more. This goes out. Young guys, old guys, everybody. Listen up. I've been seeing a lot of this shit happening. Take care of your fucking photographers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take care of your fucking photographers. Because let me tell you something. If I'm on a fucking show.
That boy shouldn't have paid a hospital bill.
If I'm on a show and I see talent lined up to take pictures of this photographer and don't even offer to drop $2 or $3 fucking dollars in a cup to say thank you and appreciate that man's hard work, okay, when you're going to be the first one to fucking message him tomorrow morning and ask him, hey, when are your fucking pictures ready?
Oh, my God.
Take care of your goddamn photographers and stop being a cheap son of a bitch. All of you indie talent. Okay? As much as you guys like your fucking pictures with your little fucking jackets and your fucking helmets and doing this and this and this and all that shit, take care of your fucking photographer. Because you know what, man? Whether I'm taking a picture or not, I'm still taking care of the photographer.
Yep.
Because they're part of the boys too. Okay,
pay them, respect them.
They're driving there.
Yep.
They're setting up their stuff and they're trying to make us look good. I'm sorry, gentlemen.
No, you know
that's how.
Nate with them.
That's
I'll
it.
Nate with them. Come to the bar. Come get some drinks.
Episode 11 in the books. Please join us for episode 12. I think we know what our topic is for episode 12.
I have no clue.
Oh, we got it. We just kind of talked a little bit about it.
Fucking kayfabe.
Exactly.
You'll find out in the next
That's
episode, right? That's a cliffhanger.
Referees, keep doing your thing. Thank you very much.